Welcome to Sales Training for Podcasters, the podcast designed to better your sales process. We'll be sharing tools, tips, and techniques, whether you love sales or hate sales. If you've got a product or service to sell and a podcast, you've come to the right place. Now, here's your hosts, podcast strategists, Doug Sandler and JJ Flazane.
Welcome to Sales Training for Podcasters. Today's guest is Adam Schaeuble. Adam is a full-time podcaster, podcasting business coach, and the host of the top-ranked podcast, Podcasting Business School. Adam's goal is to teach his students how they can love their show like a hobby, but build it like a business. Welcome, everyone, to Sales Training for Podcasters. I'm JJ Flazane.
Hey, I'm Doug Sandler. Welcome back.
We have with us today one of my dear friends. I love him to death. He's so awesome.
He's my friend too.
I know he's your friend, but he's my friend first. I'm going to take claims. Okay, so we have Adam Schaeuble with us. Adam, welcome to the show.
JJ Flazane and DJ Doug. Oh man, I think JJ has it correct. I think I was her friend first, but Doug was like right there. But I was at the event where you guys, I feel like you fell in love. So I feel like I'm a big part of this. I'm a big part of this relationship is what I'm trying to say.
All I know is I want to have pipes like Adam doesn't want to be able to talk like that. I don't know how he's got that. God, I want to figure that out. I will never rise to the full level of my potential because of my voice.
That's okay, honey. You make up for it with personality. So don't worry about it. Everyone has their strength, and Adam's is one of his voice. But another one he has is his personality also. And we have brought Adam on today to talk about sales training for podcasters because he, like me, started out in the health space and in fitness and weight loss and helping people on that, and has pivoted to and also done very well in terms of converting people into programs and from the podcast into clients and to designing new programs. And so today's show, as all shows are, we're going to handle sales training from a couple different points of view. The people who listen to the show either love sales and want sort of the tricks and the tips to do better at some of those sales training things. And the other half, they hate sales, but they want to get better at it. So Adam, let's start off by talking about your sales journey. And how do you feel? Did you always love sales or did you hate it and had to learn it?
Well, I've been kind of marinating on this question. I was telling Doug that I think I really do enjoy selling. I'm just a little bit launch-phobic where like the big promo deal, okay, and now we've got 5 days to promote all this and make thousands of dollars or else epic fail. I'm like, but I really like making friends. I have a lot of confidence in the way that I can impact people. And if I make enough friends and I tell enough people about how I can help them make that next step in their journey, that's sales. And I'm good at that. And I love doing that. And I've got a lot of confidence around that. And I'm getting better at the whole launch thing. I'm building up that confidence as well. And, Doug and I are going to kind of hold hands and get to it together.
Well, amen to that. I mean, I'll tell you something. When you started talking about, it's like that high pressure, like the thing that the late night television guy that's hawking on TV just wants to sell you, and it's got like this amazing product, snake oil or whatever he's selling. It's like, oh my gosh, that's the kind of stuff that most people as prospective buyers or audience members, that's the stuff that turns them off. Why do people still try that, Adam?
Well, people out there making money do that. Like we all know people that are out there going, and for an extra $25,000, I will give you my email address. And it's like, what kind of value did I just get out of that? If people are making money, there'll be people out there that follow in that lead. But like in the podcasting space that we exist in, I feel like the culture is really shifting because it's different now because there are so many people out there podcasting, and we have to stand out in a different way. It's not like, I was one of the first 5 podcasters, and I've got a giant show, and everyone just worships the words that I spit into this microphone. And we've got to earn trust, and we've got to build relationships, and you can't just come out like all guns blazing, throwing out 25K offers on your podcast or whatever it is that you're doing. It's about relationship building, and like I said, it's about making friends. And to me, that means really blowing people away by initiating engagement. And that's something that I'm really like that sets me up for sales because I stand out by initiating conversations with my podcast audience or my Instagram audience or the people that, send me a question. I try to level up and make the experience stand out a little bit. And, I'm sure we'll dive into that a little bit later.
So I want to talk about your style. And I think what I just heard was engagement. And would you consider that kind of your style or your focus when it comes to selling? Yeah,
like it's all about initiating that engagement, over delivering, and showing up with energy. I operate in a space, similar to you, JJ, where starting off in the health and weight loss space, there are a lot of people that are really struggling with that. And I market myself as somebody that's going to give someone else hope. And it's okay if you don't feel like you have personal traction with your life or your health journey right now. You can borrow some of my momentum until you build up your own. By operating and engaging in that way, that gives people hope, that gives people confidence in me, and they get comfortable with me really quick. Now, as I'm helping, podcasters build businesses, it's the same thing. I know the first year and a half, 2 years of my podcasting journey, I had no idea what the hell I was doing. I made $0. I was working it as a full-time job for sure, for free. And I know where you're at. And the good thing is now I'm a full-time podcaster. I've gone from point A to point B, and I can show you how to get there. I can show you how to get there a hell of a lot quicker than I did. So just leaning into that story and leaning into their pain points, but being that mentor role, that best friend role. Again, not being like, oh, I'm Mr. High Horse expert, and if you want to play on my level, it's going to cost all XYZ dollars. Like, I'm really big on creating connection, initiating that engagement, making that friendship happen first. You guys know Chris Kremitzos that runs Podfest. Like, that guy, he's got a philosophy that he calls ground and pound. And like, I love that term. I'm like, that's how I operate when I build my business. I'm on the ground, just pounding it out, adding value, creating relationships, making friends. And when you do that, you plant those seeds, they end up blossoming into business relationships. And it's awesome. Like, it doesn't feel like sales at all.
Well, what I've seen, Adam, which is really cool, and I agree with it. What's it called? Pound and ground? Is that what you ground?
Ground and pound.
So I see. I'm a member of JVology and Jay Fazzette's group, and he talks about probably very similar to the ground and pound philosophy, or maybe slightly different. Is a great partnership starts with "I'll go first." And I see that with you. Where I really saw that, where it really made the deepest impact was fairly recently. Even though I always knew you were a nice guy, I didn't really understand what your methodology was. And I saw through one of the programs, I think you have this Instagram builders, like, hey, build your Instagram followers doing this. And it was when somebody follows you on Instagram, you literally did this recording back to them saying, hey, John, I appreciate you being a part of my Instagram community, and maybe just mentioning a message or something that that you're connected to them. And it goes so far. And I know that probably some people might say, well, that's just a marketing thing. And I'm like, well, I don't think it is for Adam. I think it is a marketing thing, and that it works from a marketing perspective. But I think you really enjoy that initial connection and that initial relationship building. And while there will eventually be dollars that are exchanged for that relationship and for the value that you bring to that relationship by providing your services, I think that initially you just get excitement from even that first instant connection. Do I have that right when I just kind of philosophize that that's what I think that you do?
Well, the way I look at it, Doug, is I put myself back when I was just that podcaster that was just getting started, super frustrated, out on Podcaster Island, paddling the podcast struggle boat around the island by myself. And I was ready to quit at like episode 50. I committed doing, one episode a week for a year. And then I was pretty much ready to quit until I got plugged into other podcasters, other people that can mentor me, to coach me, to help me level up. So when I have somebody new enter my world, so the example you gave is with my Instagram, when somebody new follows me on Instagram, I envision them being me where I was. So I jump all over. I initiate engagement. I'm like, yo, you don't have to look any further. I'm going to light your booty up right now. So, but I jump in there, and you're right. Like, we live in a world of automation, and, people want to just, level up and outsource, and everything's a bot. So when somebody follows me new on Instagram, I initiate engagement. I drop a voice direct message to them, for them. I say their name, I say my name, I say what day it is, and I'm welcoming them and thanking them for following me and giving some of their attention and some of their time to me. And I just promise them, I'm like, I hope that I can over deliver for you. But then I also kind of give them a next step, which is part of the relationship building, kind of pulling them into my world. So if I'm doing like a Zoom meetup, or if I've got a podcast episode I think they should check out, I'm like, hey, I'm going to drop a link in the next message. I would love for you to check that out. We can, connect on the Zoom, or this episode would be, high value for you. Check it out. But this builds super fans. And these are the people that binge listen to my podcast and they share it out with 10 of their friends. And it's like, it's totally worth that time where I spend about an hour, 90 minutes a week, just dropping these DMs, these voice DMs as fast as I can go. And the reaction is insane. Like, these people are like, what? I've had Doug and JJ, you're going to love this. I have people that are like, what service is this? How did you automate this? I'm like, it's my voice. It's my voice. More like, I probably say 25% of people think that I have some amazing high level service where it like fills in their name and the day or something. And I was like, no, it's called myvoice.com. And that's what I'm using here. So, but to stand out in a world that's overly marketed, you got to think, how do we truly stand out? What is everyone else doing? How do we do the opposite? And I feel like in the day and age of the pandemic that we live in, if we can create some extra human connection, like, that's super high value right now, because people are craving that. So that's what I try to deliver.
Do you think that that's sort of been where you've been successful, and how you've been able to, you go from that, in the podcast world, paddling by yourself out there, into where you are now? Is that sort of the personalized extra, go the extra step, reach out to people, make that connection, engage with them immediately? Do you think that was a turning point for you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I've always kind of been the friend maker guy. Like, I'm good at making friends, and I feel like I kind of bring some levity to the situation. I like to, have a good time and add energy whenever we're together. And you guys know that we get a little wild sometimes, but like, it's something that is just in me. And like, I'll say a good example is this. Both of you guys have taught me the process of like the guest to client model. So I've been using that for both my shows for a while now, since I learned that from you guys. And I had somebody that came in to do like, I call them podcast audit sessions for my show. And we do the interview and then we put it out, and I'm following up, and I deliver all these notes that I took and all these recommended action steps. And like, I haven't mentioned anything about sales. And this woman goes, Adam, how can I just give you, I need to pay you for something now. Can you just tell me the thing that I could buy to keep going? Because I'd already done a free session and I did all these notes and all these things. She's like, I just want to give you my dang credit card, because let's just do this. And I'm like, all right, that sounds good to me. And that doesn't happen as often as I would like it to, but that just shows you like the power of making friends, over delivering, and having fun, and just having confidence in what you're doing, and having confidence that you're not going to lose that sale because you aren't being super salesy, high pressure salesman guy.
Well, I wanted to start this show just for that very reason, that, Doug's background is, his dad was like one of the most famous salespeople on the planet, and built a multi-million, billion-dollar, I don't know what the number is, babe, company, and still going today, where, we go someplace in the world and he says his name and they'll say, hey, are you related to Dave Sandler? And it's amazing, because I'd never heard of his dad before because I haven't been in the sales space. And so there's a whole different mentality and like relationship with selling to people who are in the sales space. And then those of us that are, let's say, more creatives or more relators, and we are, person to person service based stuff, like selling isn't natural necessarily. It doesn't mean we don't become good at it and that we don't enjoy parts of it, but it's a whole different mindset. And I wanted to bridge that gap between the people who automatically, especially podcasters, podcasters need to make a living doing their podcast. Otherwise, why are they doing it? I mean, if you're doing a charity podcast, power to you. That is cool. But for those entrepreneurs who want to start out a show, and they want to do something with it. And that brings me to this question for you, Adam. Why did you start your show? I mean, I know you did Million Pound Mission, but did you do it as a business? Did you want to make money immediately when you started Million Pound Mission?
Well, for sure. Like, I totally agree with what you said there, JJ. Like, that's, to me, I saw podcasting as an opportunity to live and upgrade my lifestyle, like live the lifestyle that I wanted, upgrade my lifestyle. I was kind of burning out on my gym ownership situation. I'm very proud to announce that I am a recovering gym owner at this point. So and pre-COVID, JJ, I sold the gym. I have to quit saying I got rid of it. I sold the gym in December, pre-pandemic. So that was I was due for some good luck. But I got into podcasting and created the Million Pound Mission because I knew I can make a bigger impact. And I knew that if I helped enough people, the dollars would come. And then as the dollars kept coming in, I could replace my income and leave the gym situation. So that was a part of the plan the entire time. And then as I gained experience in my fourth year of podcasting, and I launched the second show, and we dove a little bit deeper into the business aspects of podcasts. Like, I've always loved business. Like, I was the kid when I was 6 years old. I organized a team of children in my neighborhood to create like holiday cards and like handmade ones. And we would all go around and sell them door to door for like a quarter. And I'd give them a cut for some reason because I was the organizer, so they didn't get all the money for what they sold. And I would like take my cut. And I was that guy. I was the kid mowing lawns and, shoveling snow off driveways. So the entrepreneurial gene has always been within me. Now, the interesting thing is that I have discovered something that I wish I had discovered a long, long time ago. The fact that going more business to business with sales, or like teaching people how to make money, you can make a lot more money. Like, my brain just exploded, versus teaching people how to get healthy, because people that want to lose weight, that's not like a natural thing that they just want to do. Like, yes, I want to wake up and eat fewer calories. I want to give up carbs. I want to sweat a bunch, and do burpees and push-ups. That's not like, Doug's like that because he's a beast, but like most mortals are not. But you get to somebody that's fired up about being an entrepreneur, starting a podcast, creating a business, going full-time as a podcaster. Like, they actually want to do that. And then I can facilitate and create those stepping stones, and we can charge more. And they're willing to invest more in a business than they are in their health, unfortunately. I feel like that's a little bit backwards, but it is what it is. So like, those are some of the big revelations I've had in making that transition that you've had, JJ, from being health person to business person. And like, it's a breath of fresh air when people are like, yeah, I want your product and I'll pay you several $1,000s and I'm going to be happy to do it. Wow. Mind blown.
Well, we're all like, the three of us that are talking, and everybody that we've had on our show, and maybe we're speaking to this audience, but I'm not 100% sure. We all seem to come from that entrepreneurial space. And genetically, I think there is something different about us than the rest of the world. If you had to pick like a common denominator or two for the entrepreneurs that are out there, so that somebody that is listening to this show could maybe identify themselves in what we think is that's either that special gift or the curse that we have for the world. What is it about us entrepreneurs that's different than everybody else?
Well, one of the things for me, like one of the traits that really is apparent in me is like, I am an idea factory. Like, I've got ideas 24/7. I'm waking up in the middle of the night with podcast ideas. And I think that happens when we get really in alignment with the business of our dreams, and we start to see that life that we could create for ourselves. Like that vision is really getting clear, and all of a sudden the ideas start flowing. But then we can also tend to get in our head about it. I feel like that's a very entrepreneurial thing where even like Doug and I were joking around about launching or doing a live event. What if no one shows up? Then what do I do? Then, how's my ego being damaged? So I think like being that visionary, being that dreamer, waking up in the middle of the night with an idea or a person that you want to invite to be on your show, or somebody you want to connect with, a new program that you want to launch. I'd say that would probably be another trait, either good or bad. Like we tend to create a lot of things, and sometimes we get more joy, or not get more joy. We spend more time creating things, and then once we're done creating them, we don't really serve in the releasing into the wild space and selling and launching. And then it's like, ooh, the next thing I want to create is this. And now I'm going to hustle and spend a lot of time creating my next course. And I'm going to promote it for 5 seconds. And then the next course. So like I've been up and down that road a lot of times. So if you guys are entrepreneurs out there and you're kind of dealing with some of that, shiny object syndrome, a lot of launching, not a lot of selling or making money, I feel like that's normal. It's correctable. I've kind of backed off of that quite a bit, and it takes, you got to kind of build up some of that scar tissue and have some of those hard lessons learned, where you may be like, man, I think I wasted a lot of time and money creating all these things that I never even sold. Like I was showing somebody the back edge of my my Kajabi platform the other day, and I was scrolling through all of the courses that I've built, and they were like, oh my God, there's like 74 of these things out there and you only sell 2 things. I'm like, I know, I've wasted a little bit of time building courses. Whoops.
Oops. Yeah, I have a lot of landing pages too. It's like, I have a ton of landing pages. I just have nothing going to them. It's like, okay. Jeez.
So I want to know, because I do that. I used to do that. I mean, I learned that the hard way in the non-digital space by making workbooks and videos and CDs and all kinds of products in the health space for people, because I know they needed it, right? I knew they needed it, but I didn't test if they were actually going to buy it or not. So I'm there with you. Maybe you can, offer those things as bonuses or lead magnets or something. See if you can't get a crowd in that. But I want to know what your favorite tool is for sales. And am I too presumptuous to say that I think it's Instagram?
That would be correct. Instagram, as you know, is my jam.
I know, but I do you consider so this is interesting. So here's the difference between maybe old school and new school thinking. It's like, I think Instagram as a marketing tool and an engagement tool. I look at HubSpot as a sales tool, because now I can track I'm going to call this so totally old school. It's like, I can track my deals. I can track my prospects. I can, I can track my analytics and my lose and win rate. It's like a game in HubSpot. And when I come over to social media, I'm like, here's just a way for me to communicate and engage my audience, which is a great marketing tool. But I don't even think of it as a sales tool. And again, argue the point for or against that philosophy.
Well, I think it's a relationship building tool. And if the way that you sell is by building relationships, then yeah, it's a sales tool. Like it's the stepping stones to get there. And like Instagram, first point I really feel like is important to make when you talk social media, and especially if you're honing in on one platform, is that if your people aren't on Instagram or whatever social media platform, you don't need to be there. Like you shouldn't have the fear of missing out and be like, oh my God. Like I had everybody and their brother telling me, you got to be on TikTok. You do like the funny Instagram stories. You're going to crush it on TikTok. You're totally missing out. And I was just like, I'm crushing it on Instagram. I'm crushing it with my Facebook group. I'm good. I don't have time to learn a new language on TikTok and market and do all this stuff. But now that IG Reels has come and kind of that's like the TikTok-ish thing on Instagram, I've learned how to do it because I know how to operate in that platform. And I've already got an audience that I can serve there. So usually, in the Facebook/Instagram world, they are the Death Star and they absorb things. And just, so I'm like, it's coming. I know it's coming. I use Instagram to, again, initiate engagement, to initiate those relationships. And the key, again, is like my audience is there, whether both with fitness and with podcasting. Like that's where they're hanging out, and I'm pulling them in, and I'm able to connect easily and use the tools, whether it's Instagram lives for like Q&A sessions or follow-up interview sessions to really take advantage of the algorithm to build, to ramp up my download numbers, or whether it's an Instagram story where I have this little flow that I call the have you ever question, and I post certain things in certain order to lead to sales. Like I sell stuff in my Instagram story on a weekly basis, whether it's leading people into a funnel or it's like a direct sale. I've got kind of a marketing pattern where 1 week out of a 28-day cycle, I do active sales pitches, like direct sales pitches through my social media and through my newsletter. And the other 75% of the time, it's all lead magnet. So I don't know why it's those percentages, but that's just what I do. And it's working. So, but no, I mean, we can get into some of those sales tactics on IG if JJ says it's okay to do. So I don't trust.
Well, wait, before we go into, I don't want to go too deep because I don't want to frighten somebody that maybe doesn't use Instagram. But at the same time, I want to give them enough just to tease maybe some of the things that you have. And I know that you have a free goodie that we're going to give to our community that's listening today. But, I don't know, JJ, if we've asked this question of anybody else that's been on the program, but I'm really curious. When we started talking about, you said the word Kajabi, so I'm assuming you use Kajabi. You've said Instagram, so I know you're using Instagram for some of your marketing and your social media. What's like the full arsenal of tools that you use, the apps that you're using? So Instagram, Kajabi what do you use Kajabi for?
Okay. Well, let me tell you what I'm not using Kajabi for first. That will be easier. I worship at the altar of Kajabi, Doug. So Instagram, Facebook groups, those are my two social media platforms that I really push hard. I use Zoom for all my recording, all my networking, all anything where I'm connecting with anybody in one-on-one or group, it's Zoom. Then I use Calendly to schedule all my stuff, all my connection points. Kajabi, everything else. Everything. Website, landing pages, opt-ins, email sequences, funnels, courses, memberships, coaching programs. That's one of my things that I do now. Like, it's interesting as you get into selling, Doug, and this is another thing I've really picked up from you guys, is that the more people you talk to, you start to see these like micro niche pain points that people have. And a lot of people building businesses, they've got the heart, they've got the message, they've got the energy, and they fear the tech. I was like, that's interesting. I've created like 1 million courses in Kajabi. I'm really good at it, and I'm really freaking fast at it. So I started putting this idea out to some of these people. I'm like, you know what? Let's see how fast I could create a 3-step funnel for you inside of Kajabi. And I'm knocking these things out in like 10 days, 12 days. And they're like, this is amazing. So I started selling it. I started doing this like paid, like high ticket offer because of a pain point I discovered by talking to people. And I matched that up with the skill set of building platforms on Kajabi. And I freaking love it, man. So that's like a little micro niche that I go into.
Well, the beauty of it is it's like, and I was just talking to another client, Maria, about this, who has a show called Empathy Edge, and we'll get her on this podcast as well, because she does a great job with selling. And it's like, when you get into podcasting, and you came into podcasting without the goal of you being a podcast coach or any of that stuff. And that's the evolution of your entrepreneurial journey. I mean, that's where you've come, because you started out in the health and wellness section, right? Isn't that where you started with all of this? So what's cool about it is, if you're an entrepreneur and you're getting into the podcasting space and you like or you hate the idea of selling, forget that for just a moment. But if you're just looking for opportunity will, it's like throws itself in your face every freaking day when you're a podcaster, because especially if you have an interview-based show, you have somebody sitting down in that guest chair and they're telling you all of these things that they do and they want to do. And you're asking them about, hey, what's some of the stuff you're still working on? And you're like, I think I could fix that. And you're hearing all of these buying signals from people. Did that excite you about podcasting, or was that just like a byproduct of podcasting for you?
Oh, no. Like, I picked up on that right away, because I'm somebody that, like, I really enjoy the art of a conversation, and I enjoy listening to what people have to say, and like really listening to them, not thinking about how I want to reply to them. I feel like that's an important part of the conversation. And that's hard to do as a podcaster. You have to kind of navigate the ship while all this is going on. But like, I started picking up on these pain points, whether it's with weight loss or with business. And I'm like, I'm good at that. Oh, that's another thing I'm good at. Whoa. And then the idea factory starts going, I could create a course for that. I could do this and get it done. I bet I could get it done in 14 days and blow them away. Or, I could create a coaching program. And by the end of the conversation, I've got like a 14-step coaching module that I'm going to create the next day because I'm fired up and hot on the idea. But no, like if you talk to enough people, and like you said, that's the beauty of podcasting, is we have like unlimited access to amazing conversations as often as we want to have them. I mean, it's just going to light you up. And if you do have that entrepreneurial gene, like we've talked about, that's just going to blossom when you're having conversations on the regular that stimulate this type of engagement and thought process.
You're a good problem solver, as I am. So I know that that's what we specialize in when we're dealing with people's health, right? And looking at all those different parts and pieces. And so this is just taking all of that knowledge and that framework and putting it in the business of podcasting. And especially for this show, I hope that by now, I mean, people can hear like you're very likable, you care, you have high integrity, you just want to be of help and service. You're just listening for how you can be of help and service. And that is really creating the products and the programs that you're offering people. And it's not that you're coming at it from what can I sell them today? It's how can I help them today? What can I create of value that they will buy because they need it and I can deliver on that? Would that be accurate?
JJ, you know how I am with the law of attraction. Like, like I'm super serious about it. And it's not always easy. Like if you have like a low income month for whatever reason, like you can start to get in your head about it. But like, I just know the more positivity I put out there, like I just truly believe it in my heart that I will be served by the universe or whatever you believe in. Like I know that that's going to come back to me. I know it. I just feel it and I trust it. And I had to just hammer that into my soul and into my being, especially as I transitioned full-time into podcasting and being a solopreneur. And like that was a hard, I had to make that leap again. Like I had to really reinvest in my affirmations, my self-talk, the law of attraction, how I was approaching my mindset and not allowing myself to get down. So that was a huge, huge step. But I truly believe that if you help enough people, you will be served. Like it's going to come back to you. So even if you guys are confused about what kind of business you're going to start, or if you're nervous about sales, just maybe delete the word sales and insert the word help. Like how many people can I help today? It's not how many people can I sell to today. How many people can I over deliver for today? And if you do that, good things are going to happen, my friend.
I don't know if you know this, Adam, because I don't know if you've ever heard me say this. You probably haven't. But the reason why I became a podcasting coach and Doug and I started a mastermind was because of other people, like you mentioned before, paying lots of money to other people and being underserviced and not having the results that they want and being sold an idea about something that the person selling it even couldn't do by themselves. And it literally became out of a necessity that one person in particular who kind of really, the idea became in my head because I wanted to help them. I literally was on the sidelines watching them not be served well and thinking, I can help them, I can help them, I can help them. And I just waited for the right opportunity. And I'm like, gosh darn it, can I please help you? Can I please help you? You're getting bad information. What you want to do is what I've done. I've done it. So I can show you how to do it. And like, that's how I got into the podcasting coaching space. I never thought I was going to be a podcast coach. Like you, doing health and wellness things. I mean, I knew eventually I'd do money. And I do money within my health and wellness and law of attraction side, the mind, body, spirit, soul, and money. But podcast coaching. But then when you look around and you see so many people who aren't necessarily doing it very well, and this isn't a judgment, guys. Friends of ours, they surveyed 1,000 podcasters and 85 to 90% of them made $0 podcasting. And that's just a fact. And when you're someone who's made some money in podcasting and you see the path and you figured it out and you've tried different things. And again, there's not one way. There's many ways, and they're going to apply differently to different people. I mean, so just like you, I did not expect to be doing this, and even this show, Sales Training for Podcasters. I am my life partner here is been indoctrinated in sales training for his entire life, and he has very specific methodologies in how he does sales training. I do sales training very differently. We both make money. We're both effective, but we come from different schools of thought. And so here we are, the show, and wanting to teach people there's not just one way to sell on your podcast or to make money from a podcast. And there's not even one delivery method. And I think you did a great job of outlining just through your examples of who you are as a person in the world. People can feel you. They can feel like your messaging, your mission, your personality, your heart, your integrity comes out in everything you say. not everybody's does, because you didn't start here. You didn't start in the how do I make money? You started in how do I serve? How do I serve people in this way? And how do I do it in a way that, feels good to me and also makes me some money so I can live my life? So you've been a great example of embodying kind of all those principles. And while we didn't go into, and we won't for this specific episode, go into specifics of Instagram marketing, which Adam is a ninja at, I do want to expose them to other things that you are doing and ways they can connect with you and learn from you. So why don't you tell us where people can go to learn more about you and how you can help them also?
Podcastingbusiness.school. And my podcast is called Podcasting Business School. And Instagram, I've got a brand new Instagram account. So if you guys are wanting to see, me kind of ground and pound an Instagram situation and build that up, check out what I'm doing on the Podcasting Business School Instagram. And JJ, real quick, I got to toss this in off of what you just said. A quote from somebody that I did a consultation with. They were describing the coaching they got from someone else in the industry. They said, well, I got hundreds of dollars of value. The only problem was I paid thousands of dollars for it. So that was like, whoops, I don't want to ever be that person. So that I keep that in my mind. I'm like, I'm not the guy that delivers hundreds of dollars of value for thousands of dollars. That's not going to be me.
Hey, but at the same time, know that if you're listening to this, and again, I completely respect what you're saying and 100% agree with you, over deliver. But if you're listening to this and thinking, well, geez, I am not like the pro at this yet, keep in mind, you only really need to be 2 or 3 steps down the path from the person that is wanting to learn from you for you to deliver some amazing content. And the beauty of being just a couple of steps ahead is that you have not forgotten where you were when you were in their position right now. It's hard sometimes when you think about it. It's like, go to Gary Vaynerchuk and say, hey, what was it like when you first got started? He can remember the story, but I don't know that it really comes across, because he comes across from this angle of, yeah, you got to do it all, everything. Just go ahead and hire a staff to do it all. I'm like, I can't do that. It's like, oh my gosh. Hey, before we wrap up, I just have a really quick question for you, because this is one of the things that I'm trying to find out from everybody that's been coming on the show. And I really want to know, if you had to go back and do it all over again, would you have changed anything about either the path that you have taken or the methodology that you've used to get to where you are right now?
Niche down. Those riches, they do lie in the niches. And a lot of podcasters, myself included, I was like, I got to expose myself to as many people as possible in the health space or the business space. I'm going to create the business podcast or the health podcast show. And it's like, no, the more specific you can get to your audience, like, kudos to you guys. Sales training for podcasters, super niche down. Like, that's where we got to be. That's where we got to operate. So that's what I would have gone back and done, is just niche down as hard as I could handle.
For the podcast or for both of your shows?
For both, for everything I do, for my business. Like, I feel like even with my gym, like I feel like I really should have niched down for specializing in female weight loss, like female over 40 weight loss. Like that's moms that are female over 40. Like that. Like that's how specialized I feel like that's going to make you stand out.
Isn't that curves?
Except it wouldn't suck.
Yeah, right.
No. So no, I feel like the whole thing, my whole brand on both sides, the health side and the podcasting side, like getting down into that niche a little bit quicker, that would have served me a lot better. And that's something I really encourage podcasters to do. And like, you can't have that broad podcast name that's like the woman podcast. It's like, I don't know. I had a person I was talking to, and she had a show called Reclaiming You. And I was like, I don't know who's reclaiming what. And then she added the subtitle, the 40 plus female podcast. I'm like, that's much better. Now I know who's reclaiming what at this point. So little things like that, they help.
I want to ask a follow-up question to that, because, I was told to, not I personally, but, like niche. And basically I want to say, go F off, everybody. I didn't want a niche, because I'm like, no, I do all these things. And I refuse to niche yet, but whenever that was, because I'm not going to choose, because I am doing all of it. And I'm glad that I did it in the way that I did it. I mean, you guys always used to make fun of me, and now, haha, you all do it too. Right, 17 podcasts, JJ with 1 million podcasts. I'm like, okay, but I never would have started, like, if I hadn't done a 6-day-a-week show that had 6 different themes, I wouldn't have taken those 6 days a week and made 6 new shows to test out the niching. I never would have, you know what I mean? So I would have taken one show where I talked about all kinds of things and it would have stayed general and it wouldn't have worked. And I didn't do podcasting to make money right away. I wanted to test my content. I wanted to test these different themes, these different niches. And for me, I wasn't even giving myself permission to step into the niche I know I wanted to do, but I kept telling myself, no, you're not an expert in that. Oh, no, who's going to listen to that? No, they want fitness from you. They want nutrition and exercise from you. They're not going to want to listen to that. I mean, that was all the things that went on inside of me, my resistance to niching, to choosing one thing. But again, I'm glad that I didn't do it until I did it. Now, Adam, were you told to do it and you resisted it? Were you afraid of it? Or did you just like figure it out later?
I was just curious. I was like, what would happen? Like I saw that door open and I was like, I bet this would make me stand out quite a bit. And you have to let go of the ego. You know, like the big download number ego, like, oh, I'm going to serve all these people and the download numbers will be so much. But you got to think, even however hard you niche down, there are still thousands of those people out there. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if it's just like female entrepreneurs over 40, okay, millions. There's millions of those out there. But what about the men or what about the other people? It's like, yeah, that's not your ideal audience. If you can only impact that audience at 17%, but you niche down, you can impact that audience at 95%. There's your answer. Like but I got curious. I had to get over my ego. I had to quit tripping over my ego and just go down into that niche a little bit and get nice and warm and cozy and accept it. And I'm getting ready to rebrand my health brand a little bit too, and get a little bit deeper into a niche that is yet to be released. So when I get that breaking news, I'll be sure to update you guys first.
Thank you.
Thanks. Hey, so Cher, I know, speaking of niches, you have a gift that you want to give to the niches in our audience. So for those that are podcasters looking to take a deeper dive into this whole podcasting world or thinking about launching a podcast, what do you got for me?
Well, I think JJ was hinting at it earlier. I should just take all those courses that are sitting there and be like, okay, I've got 75 courses for you all. It's amazing.
All 75 right now?
I'll title it The 75 Courses That I Never Actually Released by Adam.
They all have like 7 modules, but only the first one is complete. Yeah.
Some of the links work, some don't. You get what you get, people. No, I have created something that I call my 5-day podcasting lead magnet bootcamp. And as promised, I will over deliver on this. So you're going to get 5 modules, little, over the shoulder screen flow videos of how I build out a mini course. So basically this is a mini course lead magnet that is about building mini course lead magnets. I mean, how meta is that, DJ Doug? So, I'm going to walk you through my quick method of filming videos for people that are video phobic, how to knock it out. You'll get them all done. Email sequences. I've got 2 different types of email sequences, a safety net sequence and what I call a tripwire sequence. How to do assessments and quizzes and add those in. And I literally have people knock this out in 5 days that have never, ever built websites or done courses or videos or anything before, and they're knocking this out and they've got a lead magnet in 5 days that they're out there collecting email addresses with. So I will, that is my gift to all of my pod pals out there that are listening to this show.
Excellent. All right. Well, we're going to have links in the show notes, bios in the show notes, everything for everyone. Adam, we can't wait to be back on your show. We love you and find reasons to have conversations with you in a public forum because I think that you have a lot to share. I appreciate everything that you bring to the table. Thank you for being on Sales Training for Podcasters. Doug, anything else you want to add before we say goodbye to Adam?
I miss his face, and I want to get him back here to LA. He can't. Last time he was here, I didn't get a chance to see him, so it made me sad. But we got to get you back to LA. So come on out, Adam, please.
100%. And real quick, I just want to say thank you to you guys, and for those of you that are listening in, I just want to add some validation and say that you're in the right place. Like, these two know what they're talking about. I've learned so much from them. They've added so much value to my life that they don't even know that they've added. I rember I texted JJ every once in a while. I'm like, God, you just added so much value to my life. She's like, I don't know what I did, but thank you. All right, you're welcome. They are really good, heart-centered people. And again, just know that you're in the right place. If you felt called to listen to the show you are in the right place. Hit that subscribe button and stay right where you're at, because you're going to definitely get some value from this. So thanks again, guys.
Thanks, Adam. All right, everybody. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you back here next week.
Thanks for listening to Sales Training for Podcasters. To get additional information and to access more amazing content that will boost your sales game, visit salestrainingforpodcasters.com. Hey, do us a favor. Rate and review our show on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. Again, thanks for listening.